Did you know that even today, with GPS in every pocket and satellites photographing every meter of this planet, there are islands almost no human being can reach? Some are so remote that the nearest humans are the crew of the International Space Station. Some are protected by cliffs, sharks, and laws, and at least one officially existed on every map in the world, until a ship sailed to it and found nothing but open water. Here's what's coming. Island number 6 is the most remote piece of land on Earth, and in 1964, explorers found an abandoned lifeboat there. Nobody knows whose it was. Island number 4 is a volcanic tooth where fewer people have spent a night than have walked on the moon. Number 3 was born in 1963, and it is illegal for you to ever stand on it. And the final island on this list doesn't exist, but it fooled the world's best map makers for 136 years. Let's start with number 7, 7 Sacrius Kerguelen. In the southern Indian Ocean, 3,300 kilometers from the nearest civilization, there is an archipelago the size of Corsica. The French call it the Desolation Islands. That is its actual official nickname. There is no airport. There has never been an airport. The only way in is a supply ship from Réunion Island that sails 4 times a year. The voyage takes 10 days through the roaring 40s, the most violent winds on this planet. On Google Earth, Kerguelen looks like a green, fractured piece of another world. Fjords, glaciers, and not a single road connecting anything. Around 60 scientists live there in rotation. They share the island with hundreds of thousands of penguins, elephant seals, and a herd of feral sheep left over from failed colonization. If you miss your ship, the next one is in 3 months. 6. Bouver Island. Take the most remote inhabited island on Earth. Now sail another 1,700 kilometers past it, into Antarctic waters. There, rising out of the fog, is Bouvet, the most remote island on this planet. Period. The nearest land in any direction is over 1,600 kilometers away, and that land is Antarctica. 93% of Bouvet is covered by a glacier. The coastline is a wall of ice cliffs. There is no beach, no harbor, no flat ground. Most expeditions that reach it cannot physically get onto it. And here is where it gets strange. In 1964, a British expedition landed by helicopter and found a lifeboat floating in a lagoon. Oars, a brass drum, supplies scattered nearby. No bodies, no names, no ship ever reported missing in the area. To this day, nobody knows who came to the most isolated place on Earth, or how they left. 5 Audience. Ball's Pyramid. Off the coast of Australia stands the tallest sea stack in the world. A blade of volcanic rock, 562 meters tall and only 300 meters wide. It looks less like an island and more like a knife stabbed into the ocean. On Google Earth, it casts a shadow like a skyscraper floating in open water. Climbing it is banned without a permit. But that's not the story. In 2001, climbers scaling this rock found something impossible 65 meters up, a colony of giant stick insects, tree lobsters, living under a single bush. The species had been declared extinct for 80 years. 24 insects on one plant, on a rock in the middle of the ocean. The last of their kind on Earth. Scientists still don't fully understand how they got there. The nearest place they ever lived is 23 kilometers of open ocean away. 4. Rockall. In the North Atlantic, 300 kilometers from the nearest land, a single granite tooth sticks out of the waves. It is 25 meters wide. Rockall. Waves regularly wash completely over it. In winter, storms throw water 30 meters above its summit. Here is the number that breaks people. More humans have walked on the surface of the moon than have spent a night on Rockall. The UK claims it. Ireland disputes it. Denmark and Iceland have opinions. 4 countries argue over a rock you cannot even stand on in bad weather, because whoever owns the rock owns the ocean around it. billions in fishing rights and oil, hanging on 25 meters of granite. The longest anyone has ever survived on it, 45 days. A former SAS soldier, alone, in a plastic survival pod bolted to the rock. He described the experience in 2 words: never again. 3. Surtsey. In November 1963, fishermen off Iceland saw smoke on the horizon. They sailed toward it, expecting a burning ship. It was not a ship. It was the ocean floor erupting. Over the next 4 years, an island rose out of the sea where nothing had existed before. Surtsey, the newest piece of land on Earth, younger than your grandparents, and you will never stand on it. Access is forbidden by law. Only a handful of scientists are allowed, a few days per year, because Surtsey is a live experiment. How does life colonize completely sterile land? The answer arrived on the wind, on waves, in bird droppings, moss, insects, seals. Today, there are entire meadows, and once scientists found a tomato plant growing there. The investigation concluded that a researcher had, let's say, improperly disposed of his lunch. The plant was destroyed and the incident was written up in official scientific record. Even on a forbidden island, humans leave a mark. 2. North Brother Island. Everything so far has been oceans away. This island is in New York City. North Brother Island sits in the East River, 15 minutes from Manhattan. You can see it from the Bronx waterfront. Planes from LaGuardia fly over it every 90 seconds, and it has been completely off limits to the public for over 60 years. In 1885, the city built a quarantine hospital there. And this is where they locked up Typhoid Mary, the most famous disease carrier in American history. She died on this island after 26 years in isolation. Then it became a rehab center. Then, in 1963, it was simply abandoned. Today, the hospital still stands. Collapsing wards, rusted beds, a morgue, swallowed by a forest that grew through the floors. The only legal visitors are herons. It is a bird sanctuary now. 8 million people live within sight of it. Almost none of them will ever set foot on it. 1 virus, Sandy Island. The final island is the strangest one on this list, because it does not exist. Sandy Island appeared on nautical charts in 1876, spotted by a whaling ship between Australia and New Caledonia. It was the size of Manhattan. It entered the British Admiralty charts. Then National Geographic Maps. Then Google Earth, where it showed up as a dark, pixelated smudge in the Coral Sea. For 136 years, it sat on the world's most authoritative maps. In 2012, an Australian research vessel sailed to it. The scientists watched their screens as the ship crossed the exact coordinates of the island. Water, 1,400 meters deep. No island. There had never been an island. Sandy Island was officially undiscovered in November 2012, deleted from the maps of planet Earth. And here's the thought that should keep you up tonight. If a Manhattan-sized island survived on our maps for 136 years without existing, what else on the map is wrong? Satellites see everything. GPS knows where you are within a meter. And yet, lifeboats appear on islands nobody can reach. Extinct species hide on rocks in the open ocean, and phantom islands live on our maps for a century. The world is mapped. It is not explored. Those are 2 very different things. Which island stopped you? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this is your kind of geography, subscribe. Next, the places on Earth no human has ever explored. It gets weirder.